Hi, I'm Mary Middlebrook here in Seaton's, Antigua, and this is the next in our series on mangroves. And I'm here with my wonderful assistant Annie, who is a little puppy that I rescued and am fostering and taking back to Los Angeles with me. It's a whole story. Okay, so Annie and I are right now in the red mangroves, and if you watch the video on the different types of mangroves there are here in Antigua, you'll know we're in the reds because these guys are down here in the water right now. And the reds like to be closest to the shoreline. So we're going to talk about some of the specific adaptations the reds have to be able to live here. Now, first let's look at these things that are coming down. This is the easiest way to recognize these reds. When you see these long things coming down, here's another one, you're going to know it's reds. And you might look at this and think, oh, well, this is a branch, but this is a branch and it has leaves on it. Why doesn't this branch have any leaves on it? Well, the reason is because this is not a branch, this is actually a root. Mangroves have what we call aerial roots, and we'll talk in another video about what that purpose is of those roots. But the type of roots that the reds have are called prop roots. And basically what they do is they are propping up that mangrove forest, and they're propping up the coastline as well. These roots prevent erosion on your coastline. So let's talk about the scientific name of these guys. It's Rhizophora mangle. The genus name is Rhizophora. And if we break that down into its root Latin, rhizo means roots and phora means bearer, to carry something. So basically these roots are carrying these trees. They're holding them up out of the water. No, ma'am. Okay, so let's look at these. Whoop, careful. Let's look at these and how they work. So the prop roots, here's a good one that has actually not attached to the soil yet. But what happens is as they come down, they're kind of a single root system, like we see with this one. You can see it comes down and it doesn't have branches on the end yet. What will happen is as it hits the water and it knows that it's going to be getting close to sediment, it starts branching off even more. And each of these branches eventually will bury down into the sediment and help hold this tree. And you can see just how many of those are on this tree. Here's another excellent example of one that hasn't quite made it down into the sediment yet, but it's getting there. Here's another one that's coming down. It hasn't touched the water, so it's not branching yet. So remember, when you see these prop roots, you automatically know that you're looking at a red mangrove because they're the only species that have this type of root structure. Okay, so other adaptations for these guys is because they're in the salt water all of the time, they have to have a way to get rid of that salt. Salt is harsh on organisms. Some of them have adapted to live in salt, but to do so, they have got to have some sort of special structure to help them get rid of that salt. And on the red mangroves, it's these leaves right here. So if you look, you can see that this is a branch of greens, and then there's a yellow leaf right here, and it actually comes off really easily. These yellow leaves are called sacrificial leaves. And what this red mangrove does, and you can see that there's several of these all over this tree. What the red mangrove does is as the salt water is taken up into its system, and scientists aren't exactly sure how they choose the sacrificial leaf, but salt gets funneled into a leaf. Now all of these green leaves are able to photosynthesize. They're able to turn the sun, the energy from the sun, into food for the plant. The sacrificial leaf can't do that. As you can see, it's not green. It doesn't have the structures it needs for photosynthesis because it's full of salt. All of the salt in this plant gets funneled into this sacrificial leaf, and when it's full, it just drops off into the water, and that's how the tree gets rid of its salt. So, two really cool adaptations for the red mangroves. These prop root systems and the yellow sacrificial leaves.